Hello. This is our long-awaited guest. We're excited to have you in the house. A lot of people we have had several people calling on phone. They've sent several texts. Everybody wants to be a part of this program called Hope. But before we get them to that, please can you introduce yourself?
Anyway, good evening, first of all. I'm here now, like you said. My name is Ambassador Fubara, and Creative Director for Kosi Glories, Resource Persons and Consultant for the Niger Delta Project Hope.
Okay. Now that's the first hope that we've been asking about. You called and asked a lot of questions, and today we wanted to make it very favorable for everybody to call and ask questions. So I asked, can you enlighten us more on the project's hope?
Yes, it's a long way coming. First of all, we'll just take a brief background of the reason for the project and what we're doing before we get to what we mean by hope. Here in Niger Delta, the issues of the struggles for a better living, the issues of the misrepresentation of our identity, of the kind of people we are, because of the narrative that details our spirit of agitation for better living, we were misunderstood, and this cuts across every other sector, gave us more of a light on, a focus on. This now necessitated the creation of ministries, agencies, intervention agencies, to see to the issue of the development of the people of the region and the region. We have the Presidential Amnesty Committee, we have the Ministry of Niger Delta, we also now have the NDDC 23 years ago. All of the mandates, if we take the one of the NDDC directly, is to see to and facilitate to the rapid socio-economic development of the people and the region, to make the people economically prosperous and politically stable. If you follow the trends of things, you will see that the word is out there on the streets about the feelings and the perception of the people according to their expectation. If you look at the performance ratio of all of these MDAs and interventionist agencies we've mentioned. But the focus is more on the NDDC because they have the core mandate of directly reaching out to the people and developing the people. And this is the agency that we have presence within the region. So that's why you see that the pressure of agitation for a better life still continues with the agency, in spite of all that has been done by the agency. Now, if you look at the level of regional upgrade, which will look at infrastructure like road infrastructures and all of that, it got to a time when we now started seeing NDDC people, started seeing NDDC like a construction company, because of course they were doing roads, and you have over 2,000 vendors, contractors that are road contractors. We're not saying that is bad. Urbanization is quite good. We can also see to some of the roads they did and how useful it is. But again, we look at the issues of the better living for the people of Niger Delta. There are different provisions for development, capacity development, human capital development, economic development, and what have you. So the expectations of the people has ever been in the same vein that the Commission is doing all these other interventions on infrastructure. The people should also expect that it will be visibly seen in the life of the people. It will transcend in the economic prosperity of the people, which is a core mandate. Then again, the question is, have they been doing or they've not? Yes, they've been doing. Then the question you will ask is, doing to who? And what have they been doing? And what has been happening? If you look at the media lately, it's not a new trend. We've seen a lot of dramas that has gone down in the region through the Commission. We have also seen efforts being put by the Commission to see that they ameliorate the sufferings of the people. Most painfully, why we look at youth-centered is, of course, the youth resourcefulness, the youth resource and potential is one of the fundamental things, energy we need for self-improve and, of course, to develop a people and a place. So, if we have an agency like this with this core responsibility, the question we're asking is, for all you've been doing, where are the people you've been doing it to? Why do we still have this level of poverty and misery rate? If you look at the statistics from the Bureau for Statistics, apart from Lagos being the commercial hub with its highest unemployment rates that you can also not calculate to the latter, the states of the Niger Delta actually scores amongst the highest in misery and unemployment rates, even when we have all of these interventionist agencies. What has been the problem? Has been the question on everybody's lip. But trust the people with our spirit of resilience for survival, then the agitation still continues in the character and the pressure we see that comes to the commission that affects even individuals that they call class individuals in the region. Because the strength and the quest for survival is very hostile. They expect more and they are not even getting what they expect, even when we have the facility, when we have the authority, and when we have the capacity. We started building monsters, we will say.
Yeah.
From the youth class now. The Presidential Amnesty Committee said they gave some youth amnesty. The youths, they gave the amnesty. Their own core mandate was to identify the agitators, train them, reintegrate them, and empower them. And they did to a large number. Out of how many? That's the question. Out of how many? How many are we? So you made good plans. Some of them were trained internationally on different skills. Some of them were given engagement enhancement for skill startups. Then are you telling the rest of the people that they should go and carry arms and take amnesty before they can take through this program? Because we still have the lots of the sane people, we still have the lots of the responsible, credible people that are ready to sanely walk towards a better living and of course a better region. These are in the past anyway, because we don't want to go into the stories of what was the result of all of this. Thank God today, hope is here. Like I said, I was trying to do a bit of a background. So, now we say we have brought hope. I've seen the reactions. I'm also a youth of the region. The reactions from the part of the people that doesn't even believe that it's possible. The reactions from the part of the people that thinks it's one of those stories, again, from the government. The reactions from the people that even thinks, oh, they have come to take another money, because we all know what the perception is. If not that when I came this close to the commission to see that a lot of work is actually being done internally that people don't know about, I also had this same perception. But hope is why we're here today. And for us to give hope, we think it has to be hope in the real sense. People are going through a lot. Our people are identified around the world as some of the most committed, most resilient, and resource-dedicated youth potentials around the world. I stand to be challenged. If you bring the average 10 Niger Delta youths on the street, about 8 of them have registered business names and one business or the other that they are running around about. The problem they've ever had would be either platforms to enable them or to facilitate the growth of these businesses. If you look around Niger Delta, you see some very dedicated youth resource that are credibly and responsibly working to earn a living decently outside the narrative that we've been misrepresented for. How do we enable this class of people? I think that's one of the reasons why the core mandate was given to the commission, to see that the people are economically prosperous. So we say for us to tell the people this time that we have come with hope. Because if you follow me again, you know that there is a trajectory on the streets that there's a discord of sincerity of purpose and sincerity of delivery between the youth and government. That's why from the first time that the project was launched, we first had some critics come up with it, wanting to figure, wanting to poke to see the credibility or the integrity of what this is about again.
Yes.
So for us, we say for us to give the youth hope, then you must now plan holistic opportunities of projects and programs that you use for engagement. You ask the question that they've been asking, because a lot of people came up and started saying, oh, NDDC, they will choose their people. Whatever they do, they always give their people. Oh, this government, of course, you will shake your head, but this is a perception, because most times outside there, the things you do always come out to lots of the class of people as privileged information. And they also always believe that even when you put out criteria out there for selection, that the selection would have already been done internally before coming out. This is not likened to NDDC alone. This is the traditional perception between the people and government. But we're here. We'll come to that.
Narrative we need to change.
That's why we're here.
That's not what it is.
That's not what it is. Now let me tell you. You can't tell them that's not what it is without practically showing them sincerity of purpose and intent. That's why we came with hope. That's why NDDC now thinks, okay, if you think you've been getting the perception wrong before, or you've not been getting the right information of what we're doing, can we now do with you so you understand? So the Project Hope for us is designed basically for youth engagement, employment generation, and regional development. But the project cuts in two phases. First of all, to consolidate and reassure the people on the sincerity of purpose of delivery for this project, we decided to, for the first time, launch a parameter for project implementation. When this board came, the board of Samuel Obuku and Charles Ogumola, we've always had factors that inhibit the proper execution or progress of the mandate of this commission. Some of these factors we will know are political will and interference. Secondly, administrative will. Thirdly, focus. From the political will and interference, we've all known that the board was established with the Act of Directorate establishments from executive to down, as it rotates around the different states of the region. But you also agree with me that we've never had a time that consistently boards transcend to another sequentially, carrying on planned projects according to the master plan. You always see that either a change of government or a change of political will or interest, you see that the boards are almost sometimes always distorted halfway. Then we'll now have appointment of sole admins and all. Now, all of this again are some of the factors that inhibit progress from what we're doing from the commission. Now, even when that is gotten right, when we have a board, the next question is administrative will and focus of that very board. Yes, you might not have any political influence over you, but do you have the focus on the vision and the administrative will for you to deliver and implement? Why I'm saying this is shown from the Samuel Obuku and Charles Ogumola's board, because of course they are seen as the face of the whole. Yeah, the management board, yes. Now why I'm saying this is, when they came in, first, I am not a staff of NDDC, I'm not a spokesman of NDDC, I'm just a consultant for the project. But in the course of my processing, I saw that there is been a lot of administrative input and excellence. So this was different from the perception that we had outside before you come in. People used to think NDDC is somewhere where you just come in, oh, paper, no paper, they give you money without what you're doing. But I saw internal policy and administrative changes. That's why I'm giving credit to the management board. Secondly, the Project Hope is a fallout of the recommendations of series of engagement of needs assessment of the youth of the region. Because the same management board went into engaging youth groups and associations, youth leaders and content bodies to see how to provide sustainable solution. And across board from all of the recommendations, it was given that for the solutions to be sustainable, it has to come from the people. It has to be delivered with and by the people. That's only how you can make it sustainable. So the recommendations was drawn that the parameter that should now be used further on for engagement and youth concerns and project implementation must have a parameter to measure, monitor, and evaluate. That now brings us to having a database. But the truth is, database has always been a problem in the country, from the national level down.
Yeah.
We only have communication data that you really cannot say cuts across everybody. Apart from communication, you have the banks, the finance. Then, of course, you have licensing. These are sectors of data. But we don't have a central data system. We don't have a data that, that is collated for the purpose of program planning and implementation. These are analytical data. So from the recommendation, the Project Hope was now divided into 2 templates. First, we must have statistics authority, genuine one, for the commission on behalf of the region. Let's be able to now identify ourselves. How many are we even, tentatively? From these ones that will give amnesty, how many then do we have to look at? Those ones that we even gave amnesty, where are they? All of this money we spent to train them, some of them the trainings they didn't complete, some it was not certified, some they were left halfway. We saw all of the protests and all of this. Why was attention not given to complete them? Where are they? What is their status quo now? Let's get down to the commission. I also came into the NDDC. I see that a lot has been done on the area of youth's concerns and development, both in capacity, both in skills and what have you. It's either it was underreported, it's either it was not properly disseminated, or the parameter for the coordinate was not appropriate. So we now said, okay, let's build this data system that will first do qualification identification, needs identification, skills identification, interest identification, passion and employment status. So across the 9 states and 185 LGAs of the Niger Delta region, we should be able to look at what is the magnitude of the problem we have. How many graduates do we have? In what areas? Are they applicable to the predominant service system or commerce system around the region in line with our terrain and advantages? Otherwise, we know that at the level of education and enhancement and capacity building, this is the direction we should go. We now look at the issue of skills. We've been doing skills acquisition. The skills acquisition has been some of the things too that has caused the breach in trust of the people and the government, because I always feel, where are the people you've been training? You say they should go and learn skills. After learning skills, oh, they are your people. You didn't get to the people that have skills, which you agree with them to an extent. So we say now with the database, let's do skills identification. So instead of skills acquisition, we can now do skills development. There are people that are already skilled. Look out there, you see Niger Delta youths that are resilient, with lots of skill effort, earning a living, trying to survive by themselves. Most of them, what they just want is a platform, a recommendation for them to get on board and harness their resources for resourcefulness. But this is hard to come by because, of course, we know that the system, the reward system that we have, has not been giving credit to content or capacity. Even when you come to the gate, if you're not a general, for you to come in, we have general, we have generals, you know. And this perception has caged around even the people that are competent outside here. So that's what built and modeled up.
Do you know that I just noticed the youthful energy. Ambassador Blessing wouldn't even let me ask questions. So, in all of it, all the questions I was going to ask.
You brought me to, you summoned me, you said the people were waiting for me.
Oh, yeah, they were.
So I'm trying to explain myself.
I am excited about it. So
I'm trying to, because you know why?
We're not asking questions because he has enrolled all the questions.
Don't worry, you're going to ask. See what I'm trying to do. We also ignited a feedback system from the project we're doing. You know, we've not gone into the project proper. Now, from the feedback system, you see that 65, even though it's dropped to almost 55 as at this morning, of the critics that we're getting, because we're also monitoring and evaluating the critics rates. That's why we're doing steady strategic communication. Because first you must get the people to understand what you're doing, accept what you're doing, and believe what you're doing. Now, we saw that most of the critics that we're having were on the fact that borders around their perception of what they think and how they think the commission has been. And the narrative that they've had about the ways and businesses of the commission. So that's why I'm taking my time to give this background. A lot of them even said, oh, this thing I tried, the site is not opening last time. You know, thank God I saw on the background again, somebody said, no, but I've registered, I have my code. He said, show me my code. He said, no, you go and register your own. Now, we even forget that we use something like internet. We even forget that sometimes there are challenges that you might not know with your internet and something, because even when I'm on strategic communications, you see people, even while we're talking, I was on radio yesterday, and somebody called in and said, oh, since last week Sunday, we've been trying to open this site, this thing, I don't know that it's really, it's not opening. And I just asked the OAP, I said, please open the site by yourself. And he tapped immediately, and it's open, and people have been registering. And we're even overwhelmed with the level of data we have already. That's why immediately we want to commence the engagement. We'll get to that part of the project anyway. But let me let you ask your questions.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And I'm sure that the viewers are already excited because they had so much to ask. And this brief background, I'm sure it will leave you with no question. But that's fine. People don't know, you know, people are really asking, what's the achievement? What do I stand to gain? Is it just to get registered, and then they now introduce you to? They don't really know what.
Okay. Let's get to Project Hope properly.
Exactly.
Project Hope for us is NDDC bringing hope now to Niger Deltans, the youths between 18 to 45. The Project Hope is an acronym coined out of the word Holistic Opportunities, Programs and Projects for Engagement. We think that's the only thing now that will bring hope to the people. And first, for us to show sincerity of purpose, to first get the people on board, let them know that this is a people-oriented project. The management board has directed that we commence the first phase of the project. The project is divided into two phases. The first phase of the project is for data system and data analysis and collation. The second phase of the project is for engagement, industrialization, and job creation. Now, the first phase of the project, which we have flagged off, we have launched the first ever, I think, in any region in the country, Youth Potential Resource Database System. Like I said, to start doing potential identification and analysis for onward engagements. Having started that, we launched on the 12th. Now, the idea of the project, what we call it Holistic Opportunity, is we're looking at the areas where you have strengths in your potentials. That's the area we're going to come develop or enable you on. For those persons that are doing businesses, the entrepreneurs, if we're able to confirm you genuinely, for these persons, we're actually going to enable, either through business financing model, either through business facility model, or any model that we think that is good for the level of business that they are doing. For those persons that are skilled people, we are going to now get into the proper skill development and equipment. Speaking to the Directorate for Skills Development even, I see that they already have names, about 200 slots of program. I don't want to mention in details here because through the proper communication we'll communicate with them. That are also ready for a specific skill set for training and equipment, and not just equipment, for us to monitor them now for every of the program. After equipping you, you'll be given a location for where you're going to stay for whatever business that we have trained you on, except your own business. We also made arrangements. We looked at the predominant resource systems that we have today for the people that are into music, arts, and creatives. We've also planned a project for them, which we're going to also reel out to people. A project that at the end of the day, we're going to empower musicians, we're going to empower producers, we're going to empower cinematographers, we're going to empower skit makers, script writers for movies, and DOPs. We have also designed a tech hub that is supposed to enable the techpreneurs. We all know the resourcefulness in tech today around the world. And we are proudly to note that even within the little days that we have launched and the bits of the data that we have collated, analyzing them, we have a lot of resource persons in the tech world here from the region. So we have also prototyped to establish immediately 9 tech hubs, 1 in each of the states, that would also enable and facilitate people that are in the tech industry. We have also reeled out program to reassure civil security. This is the Niger Delta Youth Solicitors. If you look around, the issue of violence and insecurity we had before has reduced. Reduced because I think there is now attention to people's conscience and dispute resolution. So for us, look around the detention centers and facilities. They are over congested. So what we want to do, we are also raising a pro bono legal team across the 9 states that will go around detention centers and correctional facilities to look at bailable offenses and misdemeanor issues and grant them bail for us to capture them, train and reintegrate them. We have looked at the area of production, consumption production. We can't get it wrong with food. NDDC has the capacity, has the integrity to be able to muster international partnership for local productions, which we have now brought on board to show a scheme that would work. So we have the Project 999. That's an agro-allied farm processor chain establishment, where we looked at the 9 states, we looked at their terrestrial advantages and soil potentials. Then we drafted different plant groups and cash crop farms that we are going to establish with processor chains for engagement as well. For some of the states, we've even looked at automobile partnership for automobile engineering mechanic villages. For some, we looked at furniture partnership from Turkey, that we are opening a furniture workshop. We looked at textile partnerships. We have dairy partnerships. We have partnerships that we have already slated that's already ready on board for us to also commence the process of engagement immediately. So for the people that are doubting, we are not here to argue their doubts. We know that the narrative within this time before now has been like this. So the only way for you to clear their doubt is to come up with practical implementation practices for them to see.
The people of Niger Delta, I'm not the one speaking. You're hearing from the source. This is an opportunity you shouldn't take for granted. I see a lot of people are asking questions. I see someone called Felix Wobo is asking a question on Facebook. Please, what is the project Hope? What is the project? What project is Hope? Registered link. I don't know what that, I'm sure that was answered. They said, why is the link not in NDDC website to avoid fake and scam link? That has been sorted. And when is the project starting? All of that is going to be answered.
Again, we also have to help ourselves.
Yes.
We have to help ourselves to develop ourselves. The level of doubts we have would not make us make progress.
Right.
For example, you're watching a program from the NDDC platform, and you're asking the NDDC, why is their site not on their own site? Is that supposed to be what your own issue is? Even though that has been sorted, like you answered, sorted in the sense that this is not for public explanation. But what we are telling ourselves is, now NDDC has been reassuring. They've said they've been doing. We have been seeing. People have said they've not been seeing. Now they have come to say, okay, we want to do in front of you. Wherefore the ones who do, you yourself will confirm that, see what we have done. Can we first see if what they are saying is true or not before we come with the spirit of doubt? I will also, on behalf of NDDC, I am also a Niger Delta, also apologize to us, because it's very also hard for this perception and narrative we have to be cleaned off. Because we've seen dramas, we've seen people faint in offices, we've seen stories that emanated from all of the issues that has caused. I'm just saying, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. Let's also sound like Niger Deltans. So what we're saying is, the people are not wrong.
In the process of this project, are there challenges so far?
No, we don't have any challenge. I'm just saying, from the people that would want to still continue in the narrative of their wrong impression of NDDC, we are saying, halt that impression. Follow on this project. See and know if this is NDDC's way or not, before you still carry on that narrative of, oh, is this working? Let's be sure so that it's not a scam. So, you know.
So we're going to take one question from Twitter. Now, NDDC, I'm sure the project Hope is a done program. Is a project you should be able to tap into.
We're going to escalate the registration centers across the 185 local governments. Yeah. From September, engagement programs should have started. From Monday, employment programs should have started. We're employing the first 587 persons that will go around the 187 local government as ad hoc Hope officers for offline registrations for those persons that wouldn't have access to facility or finances for internet facility for registration. While that is going on, we are commencing the tech hubs immediately across the 9 states. We enable 250 Niger Delta youths in each of the states as part of the free tech community to enhance techpreneurs. As that is ongoing, we are immediately going to start the selection process from August 12th for the Niger Delta Music and Arts Project. That's a reality in-house project that will be in the house for 2 months, and at the end of the day, we'll have 9 stars, we'll have 9 producers, 9 cinematographers, 9 movies, and 9 DOPs, 9 skit makers born from the region. It's called Creating Ponds. That's creating pride of Niger Deltans. We are going to commence all of this immediately. So from Monday, for some of the persons that we've even analyzed and we see that their credentials and resourcefulness is in line with the criterions that we're looking at as a company to use for supervisors for the ad hoc registrations, messages will go out to them immediately. Then the people out there will understand that, okay, you don't need to know anybody for you to be engaged. This is the narrative we should be on.
NDDC is rebranding, is impacting, is rebuilding. That's what NDDC stands for. Indeed, NDDC is making a difference. This is an opportunity not taken for granted. Please ensure that you are a part of this program. It was a very nice time having with you. I'm sure that you've given them a proper insight of what the project hopes
we won't stop, we'll continue this. We intend to be as interactive as possible, because from our research, we feel the pulse of the people. There's a need for steady integration, there's a need for steady reorientation, there's a need for steady strategic communication, and we won't stop even when we have commenced engagements. But at last, I'm sure hope has come.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that you have been cleared. You have clarity where you had problems. Constantly, we will be doing this as the project begin to take new shape. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, and thank you, viewers.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you.